Thank you, Mary. So, the day I interviewed for my job here, I met John Moylan and Dan McMahon, each of whom spoke to me for about an hour. Dan and I talked about literature, in particular a science fiction novel called The Canticle for Leibowitz by Walter Miller. That delighted me. John, on the other hand, when Dan handed me over to him, asked me questions that today would be violations of all sorts. of employment regulations. Was I married? How many children? Oh, how old were they? What school did I send them to? Which was my church? And since I had it with me, I admitted I did. Could he see my current teaching contract? Which was for another school. I have been told by people who teach philosophy that when you study philosophy, you can play in anybody's garden. That you can take the tools of that discipline and use them to comment on anything in the culture. But I would say that even more so, when you have studied literature, you can play in anybody's garden. In 2009, for example, Joseph O'Neill gave us the novel Netherland, about a Wall Street broker who hooks up with a mysterious man with an unrealistic dream, who also happens to be a New York City gangster. The gangster gets into serious trouble and is killed. His body left floating in the river. His dream is never realized, and only the narrator judges him positively. Does that sound familiar? It's the plot of The Great Gatsby. And without a knowledge of Gatsby, we cannot fully appreciate this new book. And just as O'Neill channeled Fitzgerald, did you know that Fitzgerald channeled Benjamin Franklin when at the end of Gatsby he shows us Gatsby's childhood plan to regulate and perfect his character? It does not turn out well for any of these dreamers when they are faced with the imperfectibility of life on this planet. What are the rules of hospitality and how important are they? In the ancient world, Homer shows us in the Iliad and the Odyssey. The Trojan War was the result of a serious breaking of those rules. Dante, 2,000 years later, more than 2,000 years later, puts those who break those rules in the lowest level of hell. Yeah, these rules are universal and important. Was T.S. Eliot right when in Murder in the Cathedral he put these words in Thomas Becket's mouth, that it is the greatest treason to do the right thing for the wrong reason? Sounds good, doesn't it? I mean, we should never do anything for the wrong reason. But of course, anytime we threaten a child with punishment, we're asking that kid to do the right thing for the wrong reason. I have seen editorials in the Washington Post that allude to the plot of Brideshead Revisited, articles in The Onion that asked us to imagine a new level of Dante's Inferno, op-ed pieces that, would you believe, would have us today reassess Henry David Thoreau's contribution. A speaker at a conference I attended just this year compared a recent event to the plot of a Bret Hart story. Everywhere, they talk about Huck Finn and Shakespeare and Jane Austen. You can't read a movie review without seeing references to Medusa or the Cyclops or Nabokov's Lolita. Now, I recently went to the movies and I saw the new King Kong movie. I don't think I'm probably the only person here who did. In which Westerners explore deep jungle. It has characters named Conrad and Marlowe. The other night, while watching the latest episode of Billions, you know, Paul Giamatti, right? Billions on television, I heard two allusions to Hamlet and one reference to a Cormac McCarthy novel. So I have the best job in the school. I get to talk about things like this every day with my students. I invite them to join the conversation which is going on all around them and which they cannot join if they do not know the meanings of words and have no familiarity with what we call the classics. So thank you, Dan, for allowing me to make some of these classics the centerpieces of my literature classes, and so that I could unite my vocation and my avocation. And thank you to my colleagues who lift me up every day with their kindness when I'm down, which is often, and with their provocative conversations in the faculty room every day. And thank you to my children who for years understood not to cross me when precisely at 9 p.m. I would need to turn my attention to schoolwork and they were on their own getting themselves to bed. And thank you, Dennis, for never once complaining about anything.